we couldn't find a place for a third term. The 4-year term was short. We're proposing an extension by 1 more year.
Wontumi to scatter no be a false document. And she already said this year for court.
Ebuboma enkumu kokumu abusia mame nsam okroba ebiem emra dwumadi esia sanso afanasia ensama ekoso e oman Ghana mu ene abusia panic of so diomi yede ni nyina ebre ahefo ene wachi no ye biebie nsem nim na edimu nkomo after set Constitutional Review Committee one present report e come His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no enkomo bebre ene freche eba enkomo bebre so ene koso ewo oman Ghana mu kwekwan de bewram na edimu nkomo ene wachi chama Wontumi ena afi no Kofi Akpalu wo kro no a wo boy ebra na MPP ewa aban mu allege abusua enkomo bebre so ene fi ho eba yebebora NPP amanyekuo no NDC amanyekuo no enkomo bebre ene fi ho eba Honorable Kennedy Akompreko Japan ena afi Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia camp enkomo bebre efi ho eba baransa na busua ebewura mu no yeni kan kwa this video emra ense Constitutional Review Committee one present report no edema President John Dramani Mahama na ababe piem se unse we no eye 4 years one term no eye 4 years enti woma propose womo di asem sanka ade no enka yemfa nko 5 years ense ni beto dwa no Ghana fo bi di nkomo womo si enti yade ko 5 years na dan kwa kufuado last time yi tinka 5 years asanku okuyo ebi musese dabi adwuma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama boy enkonya 5 years enkebebua ba quick one yenti wemra ne koba enkomo bebre ene di achi
we couldn't find a place for a third term for the president. So we looked and looked and looked. We couldn't find. I mean, we realized that the president himself doesn't like it. Nobody really seems to like it. There wasn't much of a demand for it at all. The only thing about that was the invitation for us to clarify ambiguity, and we didn't even want to go there. We didn't think that 66.2 raised any issues in terms of ambiguity, so we kept it the way it is. However, we believe we took to heart the recommendations that we got from many of the eminent persons that we met, including some who have occupied your seats, that the 4-year term was short. It was too short. And we also then learned that the emerging global norm was 5. And that even in the region, we in Nigeria have the lowest. I mean, 4 is pretty low. So we're proposing an extension by 1 more year.
Okay, Mr. Bright. And then some no doson because I report here by and some bebre and a womo. Yet they say kwano MPs Wontumi nya ministers. And in some bebre baran video ya boy. Yeni kanya wajuma. And say na man for suggest kadi 4 years no eswa. Aya Wontumi mfanya juma. Tien fanko 5 years. But then yeni can starting free no term. Na man for kasa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama washada no peso okotetem en wodi ahyem baran ebeto dwa no wo se tetem bi anim ba quick one yen starting fuel.
Okay mama na wase na yen cha ya hwefo nyina na yen wish wo mo Merry Christmas e wo ho no di brighter tew so resa ensem ya wodi atodwa ne titiru sa no tetem agenda na mama ni kan say Constitutional Review Committee na wo ho no modwuma o maye o mode abai enye wo se wieye enye finance statement no
na president ebehwem
me mampanyi behwem mra se bedwafo betenase ato ho aba age atum ye ne no de eye entrenched position a ene bi o mo recommend se enye bibi mfa ho no o mamu ni nyina so be referendum e wo ho ansa de hu se dodo na age atum anasa dodo na age antum afi ma me clarify we so for the mouthpiece of National Democratic Congress apart from say John Dramani Mahama na ankasa be yi ano se ono de onye na dwen so obekọ ne mprensa so eye tetem no yedim say the mouthpiece no ye general secretary edman DC amanyoko no owura fififi abekwate enso de krata abaya o kire NDC stance se wo mo de anya de o mo so support tetem bia so agenda o mo respect our constitution ye no enti eho e no mo support
na Ghana for so say adwuma John Dramani Mahama ebui sebeko saadia yemfa tetem yisheme
and still tetem agenda no constitution review ni aba but wonim say nyansa yi de ntie nyansa yi ne say ndc amanyoko ne de omo se wo mo support John Dramani Mahama so onko biem etu wonim de betimi ama na sesa je se Ghana fo na beka say constitution review di aba yade atum se oman na mamra no preko pe mampanyini bia wo ho kwan so okoni mpire no so bare ye Ghana fo ya shase demonstration den se mampanyini bi baaya ni two time na okono ye de so ye nie eti ye peso sa atrase biem edo obi anu ho kwan your friend said Supreme Court ni ho kwan the best in our parliament and the Supreme Court ben say aye entrenched position enu nti no obema kwan na akọ parliament na parliament atena so se parliament gitumu afei na ba bonten na electoral commission na aye bibia friend say referendum then we Ghanaians na ye call it that candidate see person ko ne prince aso no ne akoto aba see nya 75% ne dia ene constitution e hwana Ghana for ye ne ye mra ye se ye nsa asesem ne akoto it is that term agenda no de betimi ama na sesa no but enu nya no wa Ghana for nya nyoye no wo mo ka obi a chena dwen but I support it the better there are some countries that wo mo change wo mo constitution no say the almost am panyini time wo mo die ane bra wo mo so mo twa de ka ho a akofa ho ye de aba ama botoye mu ama uko Togo uko Ivory Coast uko Cameroon uko Uganda no ne ade a amen ne pepepe yo anya adwuma wo ho no mo enna ya ne nam so a na akofa ku ditat na de aba no so I think say empanyini say wudru ba bia nsambo ne do so no a no bomoden no relaxing na de wa ya kodru no agyan because one rain now ko anim biem a wo mo yo hallelujah na wo mo ne sado beba from example aye ne aye platform so na anu a me call chew kakra hu de ko ye wo mo anso na boma baso no wo ya dear Mr Brain Professor no but the same people no anko yie no hu ne ombe ye eni se woduru ba bia nsambo ne kwa no ahwe yie no ayo ena John Dramani Mahama ye bo na baso ene me ko yie ye bo na baso ene ye baso bode ne ba no obi nim ebia na tetem na niam ankofa na afi wo mo ye ne ye bu abaso ye beko tetem no ye be san twon de abafom a wan hwe yi a
amanfo kra kasa Kufuado first time no de na nkeye na the second time no de na nya kura o ye ne so ne ye bo na abaso first time no ye ne na second time anya ya ye crucify no enti me free se papa no wi a onkopen ba bi ntan no home no me ni pa afro afi mamem na two time no a ya tum ya kon 5 years 10 years the better e free se wo mo de saade beto wo bam no atena ne na mitirimu e kon na adan ko Kufuado amamuo mu sa ne second term no se de na ne masi ko no se na adan ko Kufuado ano de 2 years a wo bedidi aka 4 years no ho a enka sei na nka Ghana na ne ma besi akode amaye because bibia ko asai na 4 years kwa na ya na ye hu ni se wadodo
yeah me da se pa
but politicians no so hu ni se 4 years ni swama omo de adwuma
ni nyina hyase wo John Ajekum Kufuor ben so no omo hyase se wure ansa na mampanyini ni beba no na obetimi ayi ni ministers nyina awie beko voting no ne ade no na 1 year twam ti 1 year ni twam a na se woni 4 years biem wo wasabe 3 years ene ebedie the better ebiesi pen so go 2012 a John Dramani Mahama a whole almost a year no nam Supreme Court but you can never tell me say serve 3 years na kaye no adwuma wo de boy 2012 wo be di 2016 no na dan ko Kufuado 8 years wo bo adwuma de chene da infrastructures asem na making Wontumi fa na dan ko Kufuado metro because sometime ni mu sisi blocks no sometime ni mu na wo see Legon hospital a wo hu as a 5-star hotel no sometime ni mu na ferry sometime ni mu na South na Sawia sometime ni mu na Kumawu sometime ni mu na hospital sakase ni ade a wo sisi ye Tamale teaching hospital no wo ba mu ni ade no sometime wo de ye sa na ma ni nyina enti akoye school ya yekoya ya se akora no ene SHS yamfa nko 4 years the better one mo ko 4 years no ko hwe bi results na ko we ne e ko 3 years no fi results awabon onimade America kra bi wote manua wotimi se oye bibi but the one born the brighter ye matam ne yetum de ko 20 years obekum Ghana fo enti I suggest say mama maintain ye 2 term na mama maintain ye 4 years na because 4 years no kra se de wo ka no ebinum suggest say nke du ba bia nke anya mid term election on so ko America won mu ye biu midterm election no wo mo yodi ma eye MPs nom ane governors nom ne saa ne ma no e meduru a na say wo mo di ka ye bi enche next year ye wo be ye bi foforo a wo mo to aba ti masa MPs no ane eye asofo ni bi na wo mo ne ma nkoyie no wo bon se enema timi sesa ama opposition timi barini eye incumbent no so timi arini saa titim se enema koyie ma no a ebinom kura suggest sa how much more say sa de 1 year ede ba be ka ho the better say nipa na ikun obeku ya che $17 ya top to 25 later akoto abaako ya twed ba bia enema bo huri rekoye hwe se de na kinoforiata ba umia ane na dan ko akufo ebu o man could you believe say 5 years no ho ma enka kinoforiata da so ya finance minister because there was no way and na dan ko akufo do na just obe change no even abra wono ankasa 98 MPs as original ye aye press conference akese akire sentia was kinoforiata wo mu yini free hon mo sadia Ghana fo bi kasaye na ye akire niema mu all of a sudden ba me free economic aspect ho na fe obedane boy ya all posters e wo efie your friends are the guitar twaba bi koduye na dan ko akufo do a whole 4x4 car aya to petrol diegumu na konwa esim wode namo the brighter sa 1 year no there was no way anka kinoforiata obesi form anase na dan ko akufo do be change ni it this kind of minister loan bia Ghana beji bia no nya 10% edie ne fa ne bank mu amo boye odi ya wuto die puria ne ade no sa nipa wen ko da so ya finance minister enka there was no way on be change no so imagine how far can you be basa menki aba bedru so media to be frank sa 4 years na de ko 5 years no me ko amadene de me ni wo bia anya adwene see ya maintain a 2 term na ya maintain 4 years term na o twa 8 years bia onko na no kra ye bre na nya 5 years 10 years and when him said the entire man basa no nipa no ye incumbent no otumi ye de obetumi bia sane be ya obetumi akọ 2 term no na ye 10 years okay and no na the problem ba no
quick one yenra ha Constitution Review Committee recommends no MP be appointed a Minister of State, Deputy Minister, or Regional Minister. Chim.
Yeah, what can you say no? Your friend be separation of powers here. Executives no, and legislature. You can executives now, man, penning in Crawford. Legislature no, parliament no. Opia be na djuma. Na obi mfane de yanko wura obi dim. Ti sa na te de a susu se ma MP bia nsa ma ye osoafo MP bia ma ye minister sa na wo mo ka na obi anyina ne baabi tu eye wo ho
me sasem we me medical kasenka me nim de enti a obi ye MP na ya sama na ye minister obi de se atofo sisi o ye finance minister o san so ye MP Jesi e croissance ye defense minister adwuma no doson ye ma ne ba ko pe no focus no onye sesi asame jamfi wo CocoBod ye no focus a wo ye adwuma ye mi cho what yase obi ye MP obi ye minister enti obo so te ho ye mi nko mi mpasua no so bata bia me ka say ni ministry appointment adwuma ho a e wo so ye e wo so san ko ai ni mpasua so because wan ko a next year o lusu ebi na 2KT harmony what yase
mera ase tini ye kasa adwenkyere wo bia ne de ai se hwena boye ni ai se madufu so bi de ye nkrowa hwetwia kama bi de nso aye sei ne bi de aye sei ni ade a wo de na ade aba no mera ase but this is the question that we should ask ourselves first the brighter and ne ko man Ghana mra hye bedwafia kakra minim nie I stand to be corrected but kakra minim ni say so ye MP na ye minister onye double salary etre se wonyi MP akatua ana anyi minister so akatua ewo na emom no ye wodwanam kakra bi a yetimi de mawo ema ne makoyie and me wiwe mu kire se currently MP se wo Ghana no adi a free 20,000 adi kosi 40,000 yes adi to sika 200 million adi kosi 400 million it depend udibre any ade a no mehu ewo ho no so the question is for now no ura company bia mu a aya no pe omo wakesa omo ye versatile I say football team otimbo 8 otimbo 5 otimbo 6 some player no utility player se coach nyano ya nani je ho pa se chenchenchira de won de one reduce ne self to number 5 nko ano e ma se yempam obi o team ni mu a wo player na ye di ka pam if say the brighter de we utility player e do se 8 ye ho ache ye no pra de obo 8 na pra ye timi yini mo CocoBod on strike otimi ko strike ntie hia pa enti emasa wonim ematim no aketua no salary no base no etimi eba fom yemra MPs de ya me de akɔfa ha no de aye mfato hu the brother se wo ba we na ye be ne saa no a one question was ye bisa aye sikasem for now no MP oye minister no onye double salary but se koyi different MP ne ye different minister sikasem obekoso. So we have 276 MPs. Our women never salary. Young fan said the constitutional review dia bay, ya 57 MP ministers. Woman na so no eba beje aketua. Oka di bomwa na ampa yesika sam no ekosoro. Because definitely I know say e be a minister beje e dia chair MP. Ebe me yesika sam akoso. So adenti ne maintain ne said ye we ya. Constitution ne say 60% ayam na se bibiafo no wo mutumi ebeye ministers etiana ne ente so na ne nkenye ne 50-50.
Okay, and also because one thing is Kenoforiata na wonya MP na ono no ministerial appointment no nko na okura no a finance minister but still wantumi anya adwuma no and atofo sen bai atofo sen MP esanso ye minister hwa adwuma wo bo
Minister no kra ba mienu and so one adwuma wo bo Kenoforiata be ye only minister but she the kind of chrono allegedly up to now and until want to me manukrum no one will turn who so the free animal so the better if say you konya the kind of Kenoforiata answer so best 10 out of 57 na constitutional review na akro recommending na ese ne besiako. So I think say me so me suggest say if not 50-50 kra na yenye ne say MP se betimi abe minister no anye 40 na nka yemfa system no so wa abontene no mo me support eba ne sa say ye betua bosumi nyina ne ye betua ministers ane MP ka na ye 1 million na I think say betia ba 80 cities 80 cities no 20 cities na aka na da so ndibrata yetimi ne ye bibi anra ne ye di nkomo ne ye ka pizza nwasem ndibrata to da bia economically so went me antna se no one put all us together no one ye niam ndibrata wo be die katua 1 billion a month yet enson eti wunya sa wo betena se now be put things into consideration no one say we beboa we moa ministers nko MP nko no enye bad but yesikasem no we should think about it. Ya reya no man de hu ko reba bia amfe ye bedru baabi no na enkoboa. So I think that media see ntimi maintain we na yanya no 40-60 ne enko anim.
Yensam fe ani nche ha say na ye we free ho. O say Constitutional Review Committee recommends lowering minimum age a person must attain to qualify for election as president from 40 years to 30 years. Nti chim.
And also age da ho so obi betimi abe ma mpanyin wo Ghana ha ene obi a wadi fie aduanan 40 years eko na eno na constitutional review no ede wo madwen kire ba se wo mo kwata so no mo free se yentim fam free 40 years no na yemfam na 30 years so from year in fie aduanan to fie aduasa why Mira say what the car as the point ono omo adwene ho but adenti na yenye ne se de obi ato aba no mo kire se obi nya 18 years na dwimu da ho wo ye Ghana ni a o qualify so otimi to aba eti die ne sisa 18 years ni ne kwan so on qualify so otimi ye mampanyini
da bi se ho no bibi ti se even 30 no kwa no ye some people are 30 no adwene hye da nyini sa me no mienu bedi hu adanse se ne se see me nenka me ko SHS a ekwan mefa so asua de no first no na me nya ne sa ya me twot nti se na adwene ma bie nti that age no even 20 kura no esua 30 kura no esua so baba be di eho oman so nti na 40 ni ye but ye see ete so about 30 a me kura fa mi kura no me nhara no mo nya adwene sa
me da se
because that age no adwene sa
ene nipa wo mo bo na ba so wa ba mu pa including abronye Sami Jamfi Sami Jamfi less than 35 years or less than 35 years yam say Sami wanya be 32 or less than 35 years enti yan hwe adwuma wo bo the better age aye numbers ene obi a wanyini bia na nim nyansa
but obi ho aho o ma no adwuma we se onya oba ne perfect but o de ne be president a abuso president no nya easy sao
enye easy minim but wonim de ntia meme gina eho ne se minim perfect say at the age of 18 no obi enu a currently o wan DC mu o wan PP mu a na ho de so na kwankro enye nyanso tie enye nyansa
Odie for say wo yi ni be best no at least first start 30 na.
Dabi media say ya man kwan say 18 timi to aba ya man kwan. So wo 18 years. No free say wo nakade enye nakade say adwene ni nyansa nkwa. God the better I'm telling you, wo be wo 18 years. Adwene nim de adane tirimu no. Eso che wo mo ma be wia wo meye bu wo meye fa so. So enye wunyini yenya 40 nya 30 years nkwa na timi cheze otimi dwene o. Even 30 na ya kono. It will be very difficult e wo Ghana ha. Say NDC and MPP be kwa kwato abade ama 30 years ni so me lead wo mo. Enye se bia sa 30 years guy no when this and so MPP mu no oni adwene nyanso. But in a body politics e wo Ghana ha no, it involves money, around money. At the age of 30 no, wo real school dabai. Adwuma wo ye ne dabai mpo a wo say sika na wo betumi edi akwakoye. But mentality no de e wo ho. 18 na America no ye betumi in 18 but me nim pefe say NDC nkoto ba mfa 18 years ni MPP nkoto ba mfa 18 years ni so me lead wo mo emfa wo ne adwen kese ekura wo but we can still maintain it because talent na 30 adwen me person me hu the motive behind 30 years na om de baaye no say this 30 on say they call 14 on say Ghana ato abayi obi o 40 years da both MPP ni NDC wo mfa candidate bi ama o 40 years da. And you go for not necessarily means obi a for to be a bedi. It depends on your political background. How was your career home? But what bonny at here? And to see it near the free 40 the abadia. Yes, will be 18 years to be another mudaho. Why a gun and he and nay, and only Yamaquan 18 out to me worry. I don't know 18 out to me worry. Oh, 18 out to me be our gun higher kaya do kaho. I then a sacra no 18 years and not doing a board to ma. No, you good to Nadia. When to me, man, class of person, Mampena, want to me immediately. And I think that Honon so Menzano or Monyadri, say at every 40 Hodia, young family 18, okay.
I think the Electoral Commission, young
Brother, idea one of the recommendations by a many Ajapa and made him full support at the Massa a year election, that's a constitutional review committee, no, made him full support in the moment. Yeah, my Electoral Commission, I a funtabang. Independent body. Yan kanasem. Yan say abra watna se anu anu afi se wo bra na wo jai na wo ko. No. Yan fanto ho. Say yetu aba. Ene edi yi mampanyini. Na onumpo ne yama ne tem bi odiwie no osore kwa. Saa ne enye no. And say ma electoral commission no emfie bi eda nanimu a. Odi abato ba ko bi awia wa wie n'adwuma. The brighter. I think say a very good part. Ye wi Ghana for ye ne aba assess. Ye free say aba we ya we so anko yie within 4 years na assemblyman ba hwe ye ba election awodo e ko so how wa si carry ho parties ni sia say de wo si ye ani say de wo si ye ne man enko ye no answer ojugu bye bye intermediate I really support me the mechita na de ma wo mo e be ma wo ye electoral commission wo be transfer wo be dwene wo be jaji go ye wo be ye referee wo dantamu MPP ni NDC any other political parties who be gina ntamu no wanye referee ni yie na enkoba sese ekoba se bia error mpo be ba ye be hu se eye human error a etimi to bibia na emom enkoye error ye be hu se we dia wo boapa ene wa hyeda no waye eba ne sa wo ye genyado ko emensa wo betena wo to so no watena wo na so no waye adwuma but the more wo ye adwuma yie no ene be ma wo 2 term no watimi adi ni na no awie so the question is electoral commission there na is no so kwa 10 years ana because mampanyini enya 10 years dia tell you electoral commission no so dey be 10 years first 5 second 5 okwa na yato no so sound so na the question is na is MPs no so no wo so dey na ekoye 5 years ana because you know him say Ghana
so we 5 years
yeah na is no so kwa 5 years go wo ne mampanyini na ebeko 5 years ya gituma. And I think that we are one of the good recommendations I fully support it. Electoral Commission yamani yibi no mfanto no mfanya adwuma e free semba ni asayi no okon baby.
Quick one. Yanko asay. Chama Wontumi ni Kofi Akpalu abeto dwa se alleged woma di woma inewu woma bo man ni krono na video ni yehwe ni nyina be 1 minute pe. Yemra so somra yenko chewe mra yekoba
Economic and organized crime began an investigation into the matter. Ekuapoma also alleged that Akpalu forged her signature on the CocoBod contract using her former name, Mercy Owusu, to secure the agreement without her authorization. First Bank Ghana Limited conducted an internal investigations and corroborated the fraud allegations that we have made, concluding that Akpaloo knowingly misrepresented ownership of the checks and deposited them into the wrong account. The bank acknowledged operational failures in detecting the discrepancies between the check payee names and the account numbers. The suspects who have been investigated are Percival Kofi Akpaloo, Poma Ghana Limited, the Poma with the H, and Delvin Akpaloo, his wife. That is the spouse of Kofi Akpaloo. The evidence shows that they engage in various criminal offenses, including stealing, forgery, and money laundering. On February 14th, 2018, IBAN Capital Limited, a company that specializes in financial technology services, cash management services, distribution of custom banking and payment software packages, was also contracted by Exim Bank and assigned to Wontumi Farms to provide a platform that will facilitate staff salary payments, customization, integration, POS, terminals, and biometric cards for the farm hands that were to be employed by Wontumi Farms Limited. Wontumi Farms Limited was to provide IBAN Capital Limited with a database of all workers, from which IBAN Capital Limited was to integrate the workers on a payment platform. IBAN Capital Limited would then receive funds directly from Exim Bank for onward disbursement to workers, to the workers' wallets as salaries and allowances. Ladies and gentlemen, Wontumi Farms Limited failed to provide a database of farmers, of farm hands to IBAN Capital, as there were no farmers working on the land, no farm hands working on the land. According to witnesses, Chairman Wontumi, as CEO of Wontumi Farms Limited, insisted and put pressure on IBAN Capital and Exim Bank to transfer the 400,000 meant for the workers to Wontumi Farms Limited on the basis that the youth who were involved in Galamsey were not used to complex electronic payment systems and wanted to be paid in cash. In order to execute the project, Wontumi Farms Limited had submitted a pro forma invoice to Exim Bank for the purchase of farm equipment, including tractors, combine harvesters, corn seeder machines, and Wellington boots. The invoice was submitted on December 15, 2017 as part of the loan application process. Subsequently, Exim Bank demanded proof that the equipment has been purchased. On March 18, 2018, Chairman Wontumi submitted a receipt from a company known as Kasama Enterprise for the purchase of the equipment in the sum of 4 million Ghana cedis. However, and this is where it gets interesting, the equipment purchase as shown on the receipt included bulldozers and excavators. Our investigations established that Chairman Wontumi had approached Kasama Enterprise, an industrial equipment dealer, and obtained an invoice with a promise to return to purchase the said equipment. He never went back to purchase the equipment. Instead, and this is where the criminal enterprise began, he forged the invoice he obtained from Kasama Enterprise by removing the word invoice and replacing it with receipt. This forged receipt was then submitted to Exim Bank as proof that he had purchased the equipment after the disbursement of the loan facility. Investigations established that Chairman Wontumi did not purchase any equipment and as such could not register any equipment in the joint names of Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms Limited as per the loan conditions, even though funds were disbursed to him to that effect. A contract, but constitute acts of criminality by no means a person than the regional chairman of the then ruling party. In the circumstances and the face of the evidence we have gathered in this investigation, thoroughly conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, we have made the decision to prosecute Wontumi Farms and its directors with defrauding by false pretenses, forgery, and causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. After the Christmas break, when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court.
Okay, abusia
the writer.
chama Wontumi ni Kofi Akpalu.
Ensamasio.
Yeni kanya chama Wontumi de ne ho adwuma.
Wonim se sankrofo emienu China anka asem ebubo omo anka wo mu kokum wo mo. Na some no wa ye wo wiase ha no. Enche China one former finance minister ebuabo no.
Enti abusia pa chese. Asem we senka China anka eku wo mo.
Anka wo mu nyina Akpalu ni ayi adense chama Wontumi. Se nyame ya atom na anka allege ya omode ato no si ampa ebubo ma anka wo mu kokum wo mo. China funds so nkwasi asem so nsem hu no so enu nti na nei eba nkan ko a America fo kura wo mutu mu tim fifre no wo mo bre pese wo mo catch up because enim se wiase nyina no ebe sikasem a the powerhouse no aya America but for some years nie no China for na develop nkakra pese wo mbesa America ho ena ma Donald Trump ani abra na nse pese wo ye ne anya enkoyie mfama no the better Chama Wontumi ne tenti ni tia wa nyina ani Chama Wontumi efa akoti kwaso per the Attorney General kayu anu okoje besia ewo Exim Bank ho sa odi beye kuadwuma na kuadwuma na odi beye no sika odi betua paafo ka sika odi bebo kuadwuma no bra sika odi beto mfidie ni ade eno no okoje ye na eno na Attorney General kire mu a edru baabi no wokoku adwumaku efran kasam lo no akwaje ye ni bi oso de koto afidie se wo ko no akoto afidie wo ho wo ko ye no afidie na wo koto no wo ma an invoice the difference between invoice and receipt ni nie receipt ni de wato awie ane ye do krata ma se ampa wo betoy ane ye de ama but o se na kwaje invoice no edi nkomo wie se wo ko obeba no abeto na okoye no ane o ko change the word invoice ana Attorney General according to onu onyam na me ko what the receipt e de share hono e che se wakoto mahin e wo ho na nu na aban tenase a wo mo ba ye o maye nhwehwemu mapa ekoye nhwehwemu asefata ana ye nhwehwemu am ye hu se sabisia Chama Wontumi kwaje ni Exim Bank ye de no odi be ni nyina wa anye emebuna wo sofo o madwuma mu a wamfa wo madwuma apafo sika odi kotua bibia ama masi odi kotua ye adwuma no so ama na de edi mu akotene kra ne se wawia afa koti kwanso abokro no adi wo bi receipt a enya nokre adi ase wo no ma chese eye bonfo sama ehu pa na Gibraltar case na ehu mami breaking it down ka crab was the breakdown of approve 18,734,260 Ghana cedis loan as per the offer letter as follows. Wokwa was it the Odekoto agric plant no aya 3,865,000 Ghana cedis and no one yanto and so change the invoice here aya receipt no afei working capital and 8,101,000 Ghana cedis and also ye hu the Odeko ye and a grand staff cost and consultancy fee and 6,768,260 the brother says he come up
na ebo video no
sika mabosu nyina no na Attorney General e kire se de woso de ye wamfa anya de edimu akotene ni se okoria obi receipt a anya no kre no wafogere waseda bwapa fakoti kwanso wasanye ni brother enya obi ne kuma ntwi ya besre
the case na do so do
de emma Ghana to abade ma ndis na ebini
sa
oh
abusan se
de emma Ghana to abade ma ndis no ebini na anu ada osange force ade ya ajeman badu do ma hene ani bre mo san kan se cathedral no amono kra de wosisu dua san re ya wono amu be court and I support the king se edu dia de ne yere na se aban ya John Dramani mama se obeda na because of in the name Duncan Williams mbata no ntini refi asore ne kro no omo ya ye mu bi mu ye nsore na se betimi anya ho chance judge so obekọ court ye mfo no so enti Bernard Nchibosi akode die mesre we die mo na mo se eye clear evidence mamo nche ho na futu okọ dia ma judge se trans asem no so no e bedru we yenim lawyers wo mo jiri gogo ya fani we wo di delay process no se de beyan kakran no mpa ebo nyina ne se enko wura mo 2028 Awurade Yesu Kristo ye wo madom se de wo mpa no na nka aban sesa na kodi MPP wa kwam yatum na bisa ho se se baumia reni ya kene nka wote de ekosi
se no nya se no na nya se ma ye ka
anu nti na mesre se sa attorney general se evidence kura ne nie emu da ho se the brighter microphone mesre no onka samfam na atemu no mran tententententem bare yen sesa Ghana ye mra no obi obedi bonefo sama ti se yie no yenku no emfa nche nyame anum nyam say
aseme unso kemi
the brighter debut
to the extent yenku nipa ne sese
the brighter wakuye ni o unum so no wakuye ti se kino for rete wu ta na mra na mo unim mo wakuye
to untumi kesu ni yenyi ska no
debut sikan de ye je but me yenyi ska ne nko akwa ya di sika ria ya mfa ne mfa mbara kwan so na me suggest say going forward no constitutional reviews wo mu tie mi a wo mu mfa nhyem wo ebebua bo se wo ria wo man no afa akoti kwa so enim ne wo ye conspiracy na ya ka no e na wo se de ria wo man no ebu fa so no ye ria na fumra ne di udi a ya mfa nko gina poa no yenkum
yenko Kofi Akwalu ye Kofi Akwalu nsem
oh my blood
yenko Kofi Akwalu nsem
apolu jimi ya bi no ajimiye you see
ono kwa de ono ne yere
na Kofi Akwalu ani abre no all fight empo it was allegedly said ono ni position ya wan no woni MPP change ye afi what ya se hwe di mranta ye se bibi nsi kwa na obi nso nya ne bibi kwa because no wonim say toilet ye wa kodi agu ni pieto mo ne to no andis nkwa na betimi awro ne pieto na me hu ya na ebo ne to na sandis nso nya sa akonya no mba pieto na aduane befun obi a entie ni o ma ne nsa ne to no gira tade ne nkata so no mfa mo MPP chi dom se ne be ya wo mbenya no mfa ne toilet nam saa na ne nyankopon on se ni pada sani nti no enne ni pieto na ndisi fo awro no wo hu ya na ewom anyo no nkwa na ekowie o wone ne yire na nim Kofi Akwalu de enwanwa Everybody. Poma Ghana Limited, Universal Ghana Limited no. One on the Poma ni PO MAA Nippon original one no. PO MAA Poma Universal Limited. Na Kofi Akwalu so boa. Na no asem bi court. Na baba ne de ampofoa. Na ampofoa no na osopere a onfa 18 ka ho. Yeso akodi ewu. Na lawyer na eye good to the stance say edu bra ye be prosecute no. En nani ba no no hwe nkrata na ohwedin. Ohwedin no say my lord me wasam ka before say prosecution. En was asam be. En was say afend me won say my client en no na ye bod ko no say how. Enye ono say ye di asem ye wie na enye ono say en was my client ne nkrata nyina ni din ampofo na wotro no echi nim yamfa 18 kanidi ho enti ampofo foforo na mo pesa mo prosecute anya me client di data ye gina so e ma ye gya no mo koe typical case sasi awa himfie bia me pesa me bodin ya se ba ma bi ne yire ana wo mo eko aha nya ne yire mpo ba ma ne wo ba na eko ana ba ma ne ka kire oba ne ka kire ba ma se onenanum no oba ne ka kire na ba ma se onenanum ana ye wade kakra ka se hair pan oka na ba ne sama na himfie se wo se ne ba so wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀ na yẹnfọ̀tẹ́nà sẹ́ ní òun bí sẹ́ abẹ́mà sẹ́ ẹ̀dẹ́ na òun sẹ́ rẹ́yẹ̀ ọ̀tí ní báàsọ̀ náà ogun ẹni mà sẹ́ ọ sẹ́ ọ nananom ọ̀bẹ̀ni ìmẹ̀num ní obi a wọ́n ní wọ́n num deɛ bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ́ na òun sẹ́ deɛ ne hwẹ́ esi teɛ mẹ́nsẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn ní abiri paa na òun ní obi ẹnum ní òun hwẹ́ ẹ̀ntì na num náà ní wọ́n ní na aberanteɛ ní òun sẹ́ sáà ne hwẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ pafoo sẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ bíyẹ hwahwa bread ẹ̀nà ẹ̀bọ hɔ nom ẹ̀ntì wọ́n nanam sẹ́ ababa afọ ọ̀gyimi kọ́ yìí na akɔ ní aberanteɛ na num òun sẹ́ deɛ òun hwẹ́ si teɛ Kofi Akwalu
with the story
ai Kofi Akwalu wo hwe ya tena sia no hwe nyansa kwa na wenya China nkenku China kwa yemsa nkom do besen wo se na mo bia
okura wo nya MPP ni ade na wo ko wies ka MPP address
wo mu na jimi no you see anna lo ya obiri buahe aduma ku ba afinom atena MPP hu di MPP hu ameka lo ya obi buahe wa kan play kan dwam se na nadu dan kwa kufu ade do ni tu hwire mu kra wo de beba abesim ne boboy kra wanya no MPP na Kofi Akwalu si watene political party onu mu wa benya kwa be wiesika na onu mu onu nso ni chimi Poma Universal Limited no a Poma na echi nka ho no ana ne ho heresa akroma na odi echi kota ato onu ne de no to na obi ne Poma Universal Limited chese edi nyina ya pena pronunciation na eti baba na we no echi nim ene wode koy ene wono nso aban sa so ne mu enti sa nipa we adenti ne se ye no kura mpa na ebubo na ye man kwan se won tena wo mem open nia na open se I support yankuno because oye mamboni yankuno oye mamboni oye mansenfo obebo man obedi awu oman no do ninimu na emu ono ane prekra interest ti obedi di pacha na ye ne ayaka ne yabre na abuka se niema nkoyi a ono aba be tell se niema koyi because ono de ani botom aye son ibata yanyimi yo kanene na ne yagimie na ne ye de kente ko nso ye meduru na bi nimu a ene ne kente ne ye de ko ane ye de rubber asem se ne be nsuo ni nyina nso ne mfamu so I support this government attorney general omonye jirigogo bia you know they should be up and doing hurry up momo honya hasata na womonko no monko prosecution ne ne mentimi nkon kan fama
quick one yenya botrenko na yentie nsɛm a lawyer Andy Apiakuwi area tudwa afa chama Wontumi nsɛm no ɔno nso cheche nsɛm quick one yenya konwa na yentie ne nsɛm no
ejera chama Wontumi oni Exim Bank nsɛm bebre metisa attorney general no body ni ensem no tudwa eno so eyede ba ade na wose wa ye forgery invoice kura no akoye ni receipt eno no so eyede ba asem a boye
asem new na wo kan boye the apology na be ka ni say Chema Wontumi company ba ko e friend no Wontumi farms Wontumi farms no akwaje bosia ewo Exim Bank na attorney general say omo hiwe mo tire say ebra omo kwaje bosia no na company ye Wontumi farms na ye incorporated entity say a company entity eno mo ami ebra me dey ma any say company don't just cry zoom inside tiasia say promoters omo be form company omo agency be form company bi yinyanya kwan ko form company no and say ever company ni dimu enkoye transaction bi ani wia la ratifier and ra organa no companies law as amended section 13 no makwai and no your friend of pre-incorporation transaction. Call a drama hukwai. It is a man cycle and from Subiani. Number 2, then you say, Attorney General say, Katanua, Wontumi farms, and they call apply for loan. And Katanu be a forged document. And omo yuju mo no omo call Exim Bank or Exim Bank for you want to say and grata dey for no so everyone here the buy any say grata for the dey no Exim Bank for no omo na you know omo here transaction omo na e dey grata dey ma grata dey for send your work no na ya gini nye se anka Exim Bank for the na so aye approve loan amaye eti se ko ba se na kata bi e forge na Exim Bank for so kata money the loan transaction amaye dia na che se omu kra di for more things yeah application because application dey ya di say dey coin na se mu jina so na mu dey aye ketia dia for the no home since said the war yeah be a chop part of coin. It is so you say court the idea assembly. It is ready say Attorney General Sabi on every criminal summons via same record and now say the court. It is a do honor with the court. Omo necessary mu prove say kata bi airport na say numpo enwa why na odi oman ni girim na hwa no ama oman na boka omo a anye gbaye edisika ma ana say yeah the application call also omo man bosia ne fa yejuma ena ejuma no so aye no CocoBod say consultant ya obhwe ejuma no so no every bank for no ane kofa no buy ena onu so he so every bank for no mo ye transaction no se omo behwe ejuma no bosimi bia omo behwe ejuma no bosimi bia de omo report na koi entina disbursement schedule no omo follow here emra so mutia we mutia emra so mutia we ma e no moto nyina so na ezim bank for no na edimu tintima a omo hwe so a omo inspect the area ni adi nyina na more so no omo consultant so na ATF4 na nyema nyina woni nsema oye maye nti sa ko ba se bibi ankoyi na so omo kan wasem dia ejana nyina so ya di insurance to so insurance no se bibi ankoyi na bibi ka bi bi demu insurance no se cover nyina da so e wo ho eti se we nyina eti no omo subo bi e pese di mo what we factor the judicial court.
Now, counsel, say a pa cases, you know, I do be say.
Case in there, there were 2 criminal cases were court, high court 4, and a high court 1 criminal division. And and only criminal cases are always here. They say they have to say attorney general to Bob Wana was only for prayer bay. And then or the banner is rather come. Near a war want to be Wontumi so SU Minister for Land. How obey a press conference go to Wontumi and no case to know. And the Wontumi companies that council freeze, you know, so a bit more hot boy at this freeze. Now, a couple of cool paradise here, they come and say, yeah, just see a appeal. And the case is a whole my criminal cases in there. Probably the you know, can say,
I see. Na na nkofo won se ese chama Wontumi case ese kontam dodo neyi na watwe bia na ese mo aba na mo kwa na mo aba na mo kwa na watwe bia mo komienu ni ade ade more expedite action on the issues na
sabi wo ye de court le down be fe si emra court bia e beba ne mo majuma na e be no ho ni de eno de e ojina kwaduboni no so ene yenya yi ano no so enti se de court no schedule no de yeni hutumi se be ka se yam kone de bia na ye kon na ochi enti o mo fe ya ye beba de bia mo fe bia na mo ejuma na be ho ne de yen ni ho prepare bia be exane de ni be kwadia ni emre bia ehia se papa se no best court no mana mai sambe no amede ye jwana pepe the best finish se state court no so bia o se prosecutor on Russia that so my kwenya na ye employ the best resources and the best strategies the community after and the effect about the prepare if you send me here, yet me shut down, you bet me. Somebody prosecutor, another prosecution, and almost I send out almost a problem witness statement. Yeah, discoveries, maybe am I a case maybe I pay the other starting prosecution. Prosecutor, not the first witness, taking up on the 12th of January.
Na nwa wasa chama Wontumi ni former general manager na wono no eje se ote ase se obey prosecution witness and na say prosecution yi no se o may prosecution witness saade no nwa nipa bebre se da bi ekokon wa yi wura ma saade no nwa
nwa se ba sa na mo na na mo ye so na mo nyina na ye ni ile every engineer ni say attorney general so from na mo bi say o pe se o yi no fi ye say na o ko li adansi no ye ni ani bi say the pasa enti ba ye no say na ye bi ni e be ti na anye mo mo bi ni mo e hu say o ra no aye ke ni Wontumi ni companies na ama so CocoBod mo ama mo so ati ase we akro no a igina so e fa change accused person call prosecution witness no e chere se nsem a wo ka no ho no that should be the pokwa di ama no so anya sa anti ase no akwa de baso no so no chere se edu sabre me na de waka dia refer no admission de waka se we di boni a ehu hia mu bi se you ehu hia e mu bi e se wa ja tu se di boni dia ene ya wo se bo ko di ne de wa ko enti no ye se hu bi a ye da na di se aha wa so o fi ha ko ha na enye no nyema waye bia no wona waye na wona ose waye no actually da woni mu hwe edure ko woni
mi wura ma me na wase